The opposite of love is not hate, it's pride.
The Pursuit Blog.
Hello Internet, I'm David and this is the Pursuit Blog, and this type of love that I'm talking about is true love, it's deep love, it's meaningful love. And that type of love is not focused on yourself, it's the type of love that always seeks to put the other person first. That goes out of your way to do something for the other person without any regard for yourself. It's a self-sacrificing type of love. But the love that we know in our pop culture is not this type of love. It's more akin to lust. You see, whereas love, true love, is all focused on what the other person needs, lust is all focused on what you want and your needs and your desires and what's making you feel good. It's an emotion-based response. Now, I'm not saying that lust is always a bad thing, but let's call love, love, and let's call what's not love something else. But people don't like this idea that what they are experiencing is not true love, that it is not a self-sacrificing type of thing. It is something that is very geared toward them. Plus it would also ruin a bunch of really good love songs. I Lust You Baby just doesn't have the same ring, right? But I love pizza and I love you, let's go sleep together. That's not a self-sacrificing love that will endure for a lifetime. That's very focused on meeting my needs, and if you can be a part of that, then hey baby, let's hook up. If in the past year or two you've had a handful of people that you've been in love with, maybe that wasn't the true self-sacrificing love that I'm talking about. Maybe that was more akin to this emotional, desire-based lust. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I am trying to help you understand this so that you can have a much more meaningful relationship. You see, because true love is not something that you always feel. You have to choose to love somebody. You have to choose to put that person first in your life all the time. There are times that I wake up in the morning and I have to choose to love my wife because I just don't feel this giddy emotional response. It doesn't mean I don't love her, and it doesn't mean that I don't need to have that just sheer attraction to her, which I do. But some days I have to choose to love her as she has to choose to love me. And that's the type of love that endures. Have you ever met a sweet old couple who just love each other? Their love has lasted because they have chosen to make it last. Now don't get me wrong, if your significant other is abusing you or is cheating on you, I'm not saying you need to choose to love them always no matter what they do to you. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But to have a deep, meaningful relationship, it's got to be based on more than just emotion, because as quickly as you fall into love, you can easily fall out of love because that is not real love. I love here what 1 Corinthians chapter 13 has to say, and it's called the love chapter in the Bible, and it says, love is patient and love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And it goes on to finish and says, and now faith, hope, and love abide. These three, and the greatest of these is love. Even the love that is talked about in the Bible is this self-sacrificing love, giving yourself for another person always. Is that the type of love that you have in your relationship? And like many things, I think it is hard to give love if you've never experienced love. And some of you have grown up in homes where you've never really experienced this type of love from anybody. So before you can really love somebody, you have to experience that. And I honestly believe a good place to start is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He sent His only begotten Son. So my hope for you is to be able to distinguish between love and lust. And to understand lust is not always a bad thing, but that is not something to build a relationship off of. Just because she looks really good or he's just so darn handsome, that's not something to base a relationship off of, because eventually they won't look so good. And eventually they'll say something or do something that you get offended by, and you're all of the sudden falling out of love with that person. Choose to love somebody by putting that other person first. As always, let me know your thoughts down below in a comment or a video response. I always welcome those. And I'd like to say thanks to Anarchamites. I'm sorry I messed up your name. He's a subscriber of mine that did this cool intro for me. Thank you to you for all your hard work. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Facebook so we can interact there, and thepursuitblog.com, where you can read about a time recently where somebody stole my seat. I say that there's two types of people in the world. People who stake out their seat in a class, and the people who steal that staked out seat from somebody else. Find out how that got turned around on me on the blog. And links in the doobly-doo. One last thing. I would like you to take your favorite love song, and instead of using the word love, put lust in there and leave it as a comment down below. I'm just curious to how that works out in the love song that you like. But have a great day. I truly do love you guys, even though sometimes I have to choose to. God bless. The news was showing 2 towers ablaze. I was 15 at the time. I didn't know what the World Trade Centers were, but